Hey everybody, Chris Mason here, and I'm here with Brian Kurtz, and we were just having a conversation, and I decided to hit the record button because I thought this would be interesting to folks on your list, Brian. But we're talking about the Titans of Direct Response event back in 2014, and even though it was a couple years ago, I still am so amazed and impressed of all the different types of speakers that you were able to get at that event, and not just that, but this is right when we started working together, and I just kind of marveled at how quickly and how easily it seemed that all these people, Gary Bencivenga, Jay Abraham, all these big hitters just said yes to you, and it didn't seem like you had to try that hard. And I know you don't really like to talk about that part of it too much, but it's true. It's behind the scenes. That's what I saw. But how does that happen? How do you get people that caliber to say yes to you like that?
Yeah, I think it's a deeper discussion, which I think I want to get into, which is this idea that your mentors choose you, you don't choose your mentors. And because everybody who spoke at that event, I almost would consider a mentor. They were all, some more contemporary to me than others, some older, not too many younger, but they were all mentors of sorts. And I've gotten a lot of requests over the years where I'll get an email from somebody and it'll say, "Would you be my mentor?" And I always try to explain to them that it's just not that easy. It's not an easy button. Okay, get a mentor. And so one of my mentors, Jay Abraham, who you mentioned and was one of the speakers, wrote a book called "Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got." And it's my favorite Jay Abraham book. And the thing about that book that kind of resonated with me the most is it's this concept of we all have assets and skill sets and whatever we have as our inventory, as it were, in our bodies, in our skills, whatever, and all of that is shareable. All of that is, you can give that to other people. And so Jay came up to me sometime before Titans and made a comment to me once, which was one of the highlights of my career, when he said to me, "Brian, your relationship capital," he calls it relationship capital, relation capital, he said, is the most I've ever seen in direct marketing. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I have pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it. And I don't brag about the fact that, I was able to get all those speakers. You did it for me. So thank you. But still, Jay, said that to me, and I was wondering what that was about. Why would they all say yes? Why do I have this incredible relationship capital? And so it is about getting everything you can out of all you got. And again, I didn't choose them, but they ended up choosing me. And so the first step in getting somebody to choose you, and wants to be your mentor is you have to do the hard work of listing all of your assets, all of your personal skills, all of the things that you could share in the world with a wide variety of people. That's step one. Step two is you start making a list of who are the people that you like to emulate the most, who are the people that you look up to the most, who are the people that, if you were going to say, "Please be my mentor," who would they be? I'll call it your wish list of potential mentors. And then you do a Venn diagram of those two things. And by what I mean is you take your skills and attributes and things that you could share with people, overlap them with the people that you emulate the most. And there might be something in there that is something that they might need from you that you could share with them. And that would be the big step three. What do you have in common? So this now all ties into something I've written about a lot, which people can go to on this blog page just by doing a search. But I talked about things in the past, contribute to connect. It's not just about connecting with people, but you have to contribute to them first, to them, and then they will come back to you. And it's got to be done 100-0. And by 100-0, it's got to be done so that I'm contributing to you. I have no expectation of return. But the fact is, if you contribute at that level with no expectation of return, guess what? The returns are huge. So I'll give you an example of this, how this worked for me. Two people, amazing direct marketing icons. Dick Benson, the smartest guy in direct mail of all time, and Gene Schwartz, one of the greatest copywriters and minds of direct marketing ever, both had their own businesses when they were consulting to me at Boardroom. I didn't say, could you be my mentor, Dick? Could you be my mentor, Gene? But I realized one of my skills at that time was that I was really good in the list business. I was, one of the best list managers in the country. I really understood lists and segmentation. And I saw in both Dick's business and Gene's business that there was nobody they had list brokers and they had people doing their list work for them. But, without mentioning names, it just wasn't very good. They didn't know the lists I was mailing for Boardroom. They didn't know, and they were both in the health marketplace. So I knew this market as well as anybody. So I just offered myself up to both. I mean, these guys are just awesome. And they were, like father figures to me too. And I said, Gene, Dick, in different discussions, I'll be your internal list broker. I'll look at all of your list plans. I'll look at everything your list broker sends. I'll give you all the best selects that Boardroom mails for our health books. And that became me just giving 100-0. I wasn't getting paid for it. I could have as a consultant, even though it really didn't make sense to even think about that. And as I was giving and giving and giving, what happened was, of course, over time, Dick and Gene both became people that just, I fell in love with them. They fell in love with me. All they wanted to do was help me with my career. All they wanted to do was do stuff for me. All they wanted to do was meet with me. They would make me come and meet with them, whether for lunch, dinner, full days. And they became two of my greatest mentors. So now, full circle, I do a blog post a couple of years ago, and I repeated it when the great Jim Rutz died, great copywriter, one of the great copywriters of all time. Jim Rutz died. You can go find my blog on him. It's called The Copywriter Closest to God. And I talked about after he died that I wanted to get all his swipe files together and create a product at some point when I have time. And all of a sudden, out of the woodwork, 3 copywriters came out of my list. And if they're watching this now, they know who they are. They came out of my list and they basically said, Brian, if you ever do that Jim Rutz project, I want to be involved in it. They weren't asking me for money. They weren't asking me for a piece of the action. They weren't asking me, because of any kind of something for their own gain, but it was for the legacy of Jim Rutz. And I just got around to opening the box of swipes that I got from Jim Rutz's sister when he died. And I'm working with those 3 copywriters now on that project. We're calling it, probably going to call it the Lost Files of Jim Rutz or something like that. And so, I think that it's come full circle. And did those 3 copywriters, if they wanted to choose me as a mentor, they just did. Can't you see that I will be beholden to these 3 copywriters on a variety of things? They didn't ask me. They didn't say if I'd be their mentor. Maybe they don't want me as a mentor. I don't know. But if they do want me to help them with their careers later on and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be a natural thing for me to do. I might have done it anyway. I happen to know these 3 guys. But boy, that just added something to the dimension because this is something that's in their skill set. They can help me with it. I don't have the bandwidth to do the project. So anyway, that's the story for today. That's about how your mentors choose you as opposed to you choose your mentor. Yeah. I don't want any emails from anybody who's listening to this asking me to be their mentor. What I'd rather get from the people who are listening or watching this to basically give me their stories about either how they became a mentor to somebody or someone became a mentor to them and what their experience might have been like, how this story or these stories resonate with them. And I think that would be a really good kind of interaction on the blog page. So again, that's my share for today. Thank you for hitting the record button, Chris.
Awesome. Yeah, really cool perspective. Really speaks to the idea of life is long and playing the long game. So Brian, it's always a pleasure, always awesome to talk with you. And thanks so much.
Yep, and we'll do this again. I think I'm liking this video thing.
Yeah,